Hello everyone, and welcome to the third video of our two scenes application, where we are going to make our scene 2 fxml button work so that we can go to our sample fxml scene, so we can change the scene in our application. So however, the first things I want to do, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping, where here I was using code mixed with heading language, so I just want to create that proper heading language. Not that it's some sort of mixture between code and heading language. And so if we then go and open our scene2 fxml with ScenBuilder, because that is what we are going to do, we are going to work with, we are going to make this button go back to scene 1. And I do want to change the name of this button, because for me it's not just going back, for me it is to scene 1, and that is what that button is actually going to achieve. It's going to go to scene 1, so that we know that when we click that button it's not just going to go back to where we came from, but it is actually going to take us to scene 1. So now that that is done, I just want to open this code. We want to make sure we got the button selected, because if we don't have the on add action. We don't actually have the, we do have the code for the container here, which I don't want. I want the code for the button, and here I'm just going to say to scene 1, because that is going to be the code that we need to put into our on action button. So we're going to save this. So yeah, that's done, and then we can close this, and we can open our scene2 fxml, and we will find that there is scene 1 currently not underlined, and there is a reason for that. I think, well, I know there's a reason for it, but we don't have any in our anchor pane. We do not have any controller class specified, so we're going to need to specify a controller class, because if we don't, you're going to have an exception saying that no controller class, or a controller class exception, because you need to have a controller class if you have this code in here. So any references to a controller like this. So the controller class is our scene2 controller. However, it is in our applications folder, so we need to say application dot, and then scene underscore 2 controller. And now we do have an error here, and if we hover over that, it says the controller scene2 controller has no event slot. And it did not do that before, because this fxml document did not even know it had a controller class. So now that we've put that in there, it says that this action event has not been initialized in our controller class. So if we now go to our scene2 controller, and we then initiate that class, so it is at fxml, and we're going to make private void, and we are going to call it to scene 1. I believe that is what we called it. We will find out in a minute. So if we then just import the fxml and we save that, and if we now go back to our scene 2, this error should disappear. You make sure that your class, your function is called and spelled exactly the same as the ID that we've given it here. So now that we've done that, we then need to make our scene change, which is of course main.setRoot, and here we need to specify a string, which is our sample fxml. However, remember, we did concatenate the .fxml, so I'm not going to say .fxml. If you did not concatenate the .fxml in the main class, so in here, if you did not add that in, you're going to need to say in here .fxml. So it's giving us an error because we still need to do the surround the throws declaration, because it's going to throw errors. And I'm just going to do the throws declaration. I'm not going to surround with a try catch. Now that should be everything done. So if we then run our application to see if it works, maybe we get some red errors here. No, we don't get red errors here this time, which is great. It says scene 1. If we click on there, we go to scene 2 and still no errors. And if we click on here, we go back to scene 1. And that is how we make it all work. I hope this was useful. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you do like what you see, do subscribe, do click the like button. I would very much appreciate that. And happy coding.